Michael Rapaport, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
This interview, Michael, is taking place during the funeral of the Bibas family, Shiri, Ariel, and Kfir. Their story has deeply touched every Jew and every Israeli around the world, and of course, we all hoped for a different ending, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, may their memory be a blessing. May their memory be a revolution. Um, and hopefully somehow, some way, Yardeen can at some point find peace. But yeah, their story was touched everybody. And obviously it's not the ending that we wanted. Um, and it's just a devastating, heartbreaking loss that I can't even imagine that what the family is going through.
You never hesitate to speak your mind openly on every platform, Instagram, Facebook, and beyond. Do you feel that the world is finally waking up, especially after the horrifying display of the Bibas family's coffins?
I mean, I do feel like the world is waking up. You know, what we see on social media, what we see on the news is always going to be skewed to what your algorithms say, what you watch, what you prefer. I think that um, the terrorist organizations of Hamas, the Iranian regime, Hezbollah, and so forth and so on, their agenda is it's not a secret. Um, what they've wanted to do and what they've continued to do is terrorize. The way they handled Shiri Bibas and the Bibas family, that day was disgusting. Last week, with the return of the 6 hostages, making the other 2 watch it, you know, just a few feet away from that ceremony, that parade, that disgusting demonic carnival. Um, I hope and pray that the world is waking up. I truly do. I don't know for sure, but I do at least hope and pray, and I feel like that they're showing themselves to be exactly what they are, which is terrorists whose only agenda from the beginning of Israel is to eradicate Israel, kill Jews, and kill Zionists. And their behavior proves it. And they say it. It's not like it's a secret. As you guys know in Israel very much, they say it openly. They said it after October 7th. They say it today. They'll say it tomorrow, and they'll continue saying it until you know, we put their foot on them to the point where they can't speak anymore.
Have you noticed any shift in the comments and reactions to your post over the past month?
I do, but again, you know, I feel like social media is so fake and so skewed. You know, my comments are for the most part, it depends on what platform, but for the most part, they're pro Israel, pro Zionist, pro Jewish, and they understand it. And then there's the lunatics and the antagonists, and also the fake accounts and the robot accounts and the sock puppets. But I feel like for me, you know, I see, you know, the majority of it is positive. But like I said, you know, I know social media is so skewed and so it's a fake world.
Since October 7th, you've met and spoken with many families of hostages. For example, Rami Gonen's sister, Kis Spiegel's daughter, and Omer Venkart's father, Shai. All of them were released in the last deal. How emotional was it for you to see them come home?
It was extremely emotional for me. It was extremely emotional for my wife and I, and whatever emotion that I felt, I can't imagine what those families have felt. I can't imagine what they have gone through, the relief, the trauma, the elation, the guilt, and the concern, and the heartbreak that they've went through. I also, you know, the families of the hostages that are still in there. I think and pray and will do anything I can to voice, to speak on their behalf. The world must not forget. America must not forget There are 5 Americans still in captivity, along with everyone else, and every single one of them is a ginormous world planet unto themselves, and every single one must be freed immediately. Akshav, every single one of them is important, and every single one of them will not be forgotten until they are returned.
As I mentioned earlier, you never hesitate to speak up for Israel. How has this affected your life and career? Do you ever feel the personal cost of taking such a strong stand and stance for Israel?
I would say I feel the little bit of exhaustion. It hasn't affected my career. There's been a couple of bumps, but there's always bumps in a career. There's no sacrifice. There was no choice. Me speaking up for Israel, me speaking up for Jews wasn't a choice or a sacrifice. It's like swimming in the water for a fish or breathing. It's what I will always do. It's what I've always done. There's no choice. There's no like, well, if you do this, this is going to happen, and if you do this, this is going to happen. I stand by my people, 500%. I'm proud to do so. I'm proud to do it in the tiny way that I am doing it. If anything, it's just been the sadness, the frustration, and the overwhelmingness of the last 500 plus days. But what I've gone through and my feelings are nothing compared to the hostage families, the IDF soldiers who are fighting, the wounded, the friends of the friends, the survivors. There's so many people who made it out of October 7th, who went through monumental trauma. And I don't use that word lightly. Monumental stories, things they saw, things they witnessed, friends of friends. So I try to take myself out of the equation and continue fighting on behalf while I can. The opportunities that I've had are a blessing. The exposure that I've had to in my trips to Israel, going to Sheba Hospital, talking to so many different people throughout the country of Israel and the state of Israel is an honor and a privilege, and I'll continue doing so until my very last breath on this earth.
And speaking of your visits to Israel, Michael, are you planning to come back again soon?
Yes, I hopefully I'm coming very soon. I haven't confirmed the plans, but hopefully we'll be coming in the next few weeks, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Michael Rapaport, thank you so much for this interview and for everything you've done. We truly appreciate it.
And I just want to say one thing. I appreciate the time, and I really urge all Jewish people to do the best we can, all of us, to stick together. Because at the end of the day, we are all Jewish, and we are all Zionist. And if one of us is hurting, we're all hurting. And we don't need to publicly condemn and disrespect each other. I know at times it's frustrating, and I know we don't all agree with things. We shouldn't all agree on things, but we need to, when the world is throwing trash at us, we need to stick together. And there's plenty of people we could scream and yell at. It doesn't have to be Jews publicly.
Thank you so much, Michael, for this message. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I'm sending love to everybody in Israel. I'm Israel Chai.